Hey, what's up, guys? South Central, we in the building. Let's talk about Palestine and Israel conflict. In America, you got people picking sides when it comes to the conflict. Me, I'm in the middle. I'm not picking a side. I truly believe that both sides have their own grievances that they need to settle. And it has nothing to do with America, but to me, it seems like America wants to be the superhero of every conflict in the world, and that's impossible. But for this country's sake, I want to indulge in this conversation because this is very important to most people in America, especially when it comes to religion. Me, I truly believe that both have a reason to fight for what they're fighting for, if you would say. And they have a very strong religious belief in between these conflicts. And that's a very hard conflict to fix because both are rooted in religion and territory and in culture. So they believe that they're fighting for a very beautiful reason. And if your actions is backed by God, who can tell you that is wrong? And I think that this is the problem nowadays, right? It's easy for someone to manipulate a religious country, a country that's backed by religion, because they could play on the differences between each religion. It's just another reason to fight. It's another reason to put a battery in someone's back, okay? That doesn't mean that that person is right, but if a person believes that they're right for what they're doing and they're doing it in the name of God, right? If you commit sin in the name of God, who can tell you that is wrong? Because your God agrees, but God preaches peace, love, and love thy neighbor. But I do understand when it comes to grief and and other people not living by those same rules of loving thy neighbor and treating people how they want to be treated, there is conflict. The problem is that how do you solve the conflict? And with America's backing, how would it fix this conflict? Which means your tax dollars. Could mean the bodies of Americans. Could mean plenty of things. But before we get there, we have to understand what's happening around it. But I do understand that America is emotionally invested due to what they've seen on one side of the spectrum when it came to the paragliders in that situation, of course. People don't like to see things like that, and I do understand that, but you don't understand the conflict. What you understand is what you've seen and the innocent people and bystanders that were hurt by this unfair situation. But that's when people become biased because they don't want to hear the other side. And I understand that. But terrorism is based upon the perception, okay? Depending on what side you look at it, anybody could be a terrorist. But is there a right or wrong answer? That's the question. War is ugly, very ugly. There is no right or wrong. It's just settling a difference. Who's impeding on whose rights? And once you silence other people's perspective, you only get one answer. You only get one perspective. And is that right? I don't think so. But like I said before, when you're emotionally invested and you're backed by God or backed by a religion, you pick and choose what you want to hear and what you call bullshit. What I think in the middle is that America should mind its own business, and we have enough problems here to indulge ourselves in another conflict. And I also think that there is people that benefit from this, which means there are people on both sides, if that makes sense. War is good in some people's eyes. And you need to figure out who those people are. And if you know, you know. And do your due diligence, because there are people who derive off conflict. They like it. They love it. And they use religious beliefs to amplify those differences in those countries. Territory, culture. But I believe that America has no business indulging in this conflict because we don't know who's who. Me being a Christian, I understand why people will be emotionally invested in Israel. And me understanding Muslims and how they're looked at by Christians and other religions, I understand how it's easy to call them terrorists. But then again, they are human. They truly believe they have a right to be doing what they're doing, and vice versa. What I think for America is that Americans should be focused on how to make America better, how to make America great again. I don't think that we should be focusing on other people's conflict. I know that religion plays a big part in differences and it gets people riled up, but it shouldn't be that way, because God does not teach evil. He doesn't teach killing, murder, but human nature does. Being of the world causes things in this nature. I think American involvement won't fix this problem. I only think that it will amplify the problem. But I think a few people will benefit from this conflict in the involvement of America's tax dollars and war equipment. And that's what we need to focus on. We have enough problems in America. This shouldn't be one of them. What America needs to focus on is getting eggs back down to what they used to be. Need to get back into lowering the housing market, getting the swamp out of here, getting the traitors of this country out, holding them accountable, letting children be children and not letting them mutilate themselves because they're confused. Get back into teachers being teachers and actually educating our children and letting them be productive members of society. We need to get back to mothers and fathers actually loving each other instead of having war between each other, and understanding that the world is bigger than them. Okay, we need to get back into Jesus Christ and learning that he is king and the devil is always going to be here, always trying to nitpick and destroy what one nation under God mean. We're missing that, and look how crazy it's become. Okay, we need to focus on women being women. Okay, what that means is ladylike, okay, integrity, morality, how to make men again. That means don't bend the knee to tyranny. Don't give up just because it's easier to fight for something that means something and the integrity of your last name. That's what we need to focus on in America. Until we have that, we don't need to be in other people's business. We have a lot of work to do here. We Slava Ukrainia already, and it's going bad. But I digress. It seems like there's an agenda. I would think that people will do the due diligence of understanding that there are people that want to attack your emotions and get you emotionally invested, because once you're emotionally invested, you're no longer thinking with your head, you're thinking with your heart. We all know what happens to people that are too emotional, okay? Not making logical decisions. A lot of things turn to dirt, okay? We need to get back into researching, understanding what we're fighting for, because look at Vietnam, look at Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. We did that already. The way to not get duped back into it is to take felons out of it. Understand what's in front of you. These things aren't always meant to be solved. If that makes sense to you. It's not meant to be solved. They're meant to be amplified. And I love my country, okay? But one thing we do is amplify conflict. The military industrial complex benefits off of it. And we all know that. So having an open mind and being in the middle, understand that your will is under attack. Your emotions under attack at all costs, at all times. And you need to know who's who. What side are you on? Do you truly believe that America would help this situation in any way? Do you think that America is in any position to help Israel? Do you think that it's the right thing to do? Are you in the middle in this situation? What do you truly believe? Do you think that this conflict is needed? Do you think that there will ever be any reconciliation? I don't know. Comment. Let me know what you guys think. And South Central, we out. We be really politicking while we whipping in the kitchen. God be my witness. At the age of 15, I was fighting my